Warning: All Things Crime is a true crime production that may contain violent or disturbing material. Viewer or listener discretion is advised.
We are capable of doing some really, really dark things. And, I think it starts all the way back when, if you think about little kids, it's desire to have something that you don't currently have. And, call it, lust or whatever. But when we're little kids, how many of us as parents, we look at our children and half the time we're spending trying to keep them alive because, they're so inquisitive that they're constantly trying to walk out into the street and, put their hand on a hot stove and things like that. But they also, if they see another little kid that has a toy that they want, what do? They walk up and they'll grab it and they'll try to take it. Well, that's just kind of the natural way that we operate. And that's why it's so important to have morals and standards, because without that, it's pretty obvious that we just have this innate desire to have what other people have, and that's kind of the first level, I think, of evil. Because just because somebody else has something that you want doesn't mean you're entitled to have it. And if you look at society today, there are so many people that basically just walk up to others and they just think that they're entitled to take what they have. Hey guys, Jared here. Just got done with a demo with Nashville Metro Police Department. Man, I've been trying to get out here for years. Lived out here in Nashville, 22, 23 years ago. And I'll tell you, it's so gorgeous out here, lots of memories. And but even way back to my active duty Army days. So had a great time demoing to these guys, showing them the MVAC, and man, just can't wait for them to purchase one and get back out here. So, it's amazing, the level of crime in all of the cities is going up exponentially, but so is technology. And technology is what is really helping a lot of these detectives solve cases that they couldn't solve before. And you can see my MVAC system right back there. That's what I showed them. And that MVAC is collecting DNA off of evidence that is, so far our record is 56 years. So there was a case in 1963 or 64 where they had evidence from a murder way back then. It had been a cold case since then, and just recently they were able to use the MVAC and collect DNA from the crime scene evidence there, and they solved the case. So 56 years, so that's our current record. It was 39 years for a long time, and if you haven't seen the Forensics Files 2 episode Knots, that's where they talk about the Leisha Scholmeyer murder that happened in Salt Lake City in 1977. They were able to get the perpetrator DNA off of a gag and a blindfold that that Leisha was gagged with, and where he tied the knot behind her head. They finally used the MVAC on it and got him. And they found the guy, I believe he was out in Florida. So there's some kind of a connection between murders in Utah and Florida. I'm not sure. We're still trying to trace that down. But anyway, that was the record for a long time, that 39 years, but now it's 56 years. So it's just a matter of time before agencies are able to use the MVAC on evidence that's even older. But whether the evidence is old or new doesn't matter. We're just excited that so many cases are being solved. And especially because when you think about, for every case, before I forget, it's crazy to think that there are over 230,000 cold case homicides just in the United States. So think about that number, 230,000 cold case homicides. So if you think about number one, that means there's potentially 230,000 murderers still loose on our streets. But even more importantly, that's 230,000 victims. 230,000 victims that have not got justice yet. They have not, unlike Alicia Scholmeyer's, whose case again was just highlighted in Forensics Files 2. There's 230,000 victims that are deceased now. Their lives were taken from them, and yet the person or persons that deprived them of their lives has not been brought to justice yet, and that has to change. So that's what we're working so hard to help the investigators get better DNA profiles, and that's solving cases, and we're extremely proud of that. We love it, and anybody that we can help, we are all over it. So I want to switch gears really quick, and I've been talking to everybody about this kind of new thought that I had. There's a relationship between what I call evil, the beast, and the buffet. And the first part of that is the evil. And if you think about evil in general, there's different stages of evil, and part of it is just man. As mankind, we're carnal, and things were kind of set up that way, for us to have to choose between good and evil, and just the natural man. If you just leave us to totally without any kind of societal standards, or more importantly spiritual standards, we are capable of doing some really, really dark things. And I think it starts all the way back when, if you think about little kids, it's desire to have something that you don't currently have, and call it lust or whatever. But when we're little kids, how many of us as parents, we look at our children, and half the time we're spending trying to keep them alive, because they're so inquisitive that they're constantly trying to walk out into the street and put their hand on a hot stove and things like that. But they also, if they see another little kid that has a toy that they want, what do? They walk up and they'll grab it and they'll try to take it. Well, that's just kind of the natural way that we operate, and that's why it's so important to have morals and standards, because without that, it's pretty obvious that we just have this innate desire to have what other people have, and that's kind of the first level, I think, of evil, because just because somebody else has something that you want doesn't mean you're entitled to have it. And if you look at society today, there are so many people that basically just walk up to others and they just think that they're entitled to take what they have. And that's kind of that first level. That's things and physical things, like stealing somebody's car, or grabbing somebody's purse, or stealing a stereo out of a car. Those kind of things. You for some reason in mankind, they think that they have the right just to take what other people have, and to me it's just wrong. So anyway, that's kind of the first level. Thought I'd throw that out at you, and we'll be talking about this stuff more. So you guys have a great day, and I am enjoying life. I'm enjoying Nashville out here. It's the middle of the summer, so it's getting kind of warm, but I just love it out here. Great people, and the police officers that I've met out here, and I just demoed with the crime lab. A little sweat coming off me. Feels like Panama. I need to get inside. It's life is good, guys. Go out there and do something awesome, and we'll talk at you later. Hey guys, Jared, just wanted to finish that thought on that first level of evil that I was talking about. And I happened to be driving along and saw this, the Nashville National Cemetery, and so I was strolling through here, had some more thoughts. And you know, it's pretty amazing as I stand on this hallowed ground, just thinking about all of these people that fought and died for the very freedoms that we enjoy. And that is actually the second level. But just to finish the first level, you know, it's not just taking somebody's stuff. It's you can do that in lots of different ways. You can physically walk up and, you know, grab somebody's stuff like a toddler would do. You can mug somebody in the street. You know, there's lots of different ways to take somebody's stuff. You can also do it through business. There's a lot of people that, frankly, are just not good people, and they have never actually grown out of the toddler stage where they just believe that they are entitled to somebody else's stuff. And that can be somebody else's business, somebody else's income, whatever their money is. You know, there's lots of scammers out there, people that will, I mean, literally call and send emails to retired people, you know, old ladies that will fall for their scam and take them for all of their savings. You know, there's also business people that will rip people off. You know, they'll steal their businesses, they'll steal their patents. You know, that's all the same kind of carnal first level evil to me. And that's one of the things that honestly needs to be, how do you even think about it? I mean, how do you stop that? You know, that's pretty much all of us have that kind of temptations that we deal with every day. But that's really what makes us human. That's what makes us civilized people, is overcoming that. And those that can't overcome that are typically the ones that end up breaking rules and laws that we establish, and you know, the ones that can't live in society. If you can't play nice, then you are not going to be able to stick around, and you're going to have to go sit in the corner if you're a toddler, or you go sit in jail if you were an adult. And that's a big reason why we have jails, and we always have. You know, even back in medieval times, you know, you take somebody's stuff, you would pay for it. You know, in some societies they'll cut your wrist off and cut your hand off by if you steal stuff. So clearly we don't do that, at least not here. But there is ways that you have to pay your debt to society, and that's what prison and jails are all about. But overcoming that first level of evil, you know, there's ways to do it, and part of it is just the maturing process. You know, we do that as kids. We learn that from adults, hopefully, that you don't just take somebody's stuff, and if you do, then you know, there's some kind of a price to pay for that. And outside of that, there's next level evil, and a big part of that is why I'm here, is because that's actually when you deprive others of their freedom. And I'll talk about that in the next video. But that first level evil, guys, that's something that we definitely need to work better to overcome and get along better in society. But the first part of it is recognizing it. And just like a toddler has to eventually mature enough and recognize that you can't just walk up and take somebody's stuff, then, or you know, there's a penalty to pay for that. Then all of us need to recognize that you can't just take other, you know, you don't have the right and to just take what belongs to other people. And if they've worked hard for it, then they're showing you the pathway to do it the right way, as opposed to just feeling entitled enough that you can just walk up and take somebody's stuff. And you know, the crazy thing is, there's legal forms of this first level of evil, and some of it is actually called taxes. And there's, you know, certain taxes that are really good because they help pay for the society that we live in. But then there's other taxation that honestly, if it's wasted, then that belongs right into that first level of evil stuff. So, like I said, this next level is depriving people of their freedom. And on this in this place, I'll tell you what, there are so many millions of men and women that have fought and died for us here in the United States. And I know this podcast is going out to everybody and people all over the world, but every country has a history of people that were willing to stand up and fight and die for their country so that others could live. And depriving people of their freedom, and even worse, and the ultimate level of depriving people of their freedom is depriving people of their life. And like I said at the very beginning, there's 230,000 plus cold case homicides in the United States. And I don't know how many assaults and rapes if you add on to that, but it puts it in the millions. And if you look at things worldwide, then it gets a lot bigger than that. But that's the tragedy, is there are so many people that have fought and died so that others could live. And I'm standing in this national cemetery, and you can see all the thousands and thousands of gravestones behind me. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's pretty amazing. And this is just one of many that are out there. And we owe these people our respect. We owe these people our gratitude, and because they have given the ultimate sacrifice so that our lives could be better, and we owe it to them to make our lives better. And a big part of that is being honest in our dealings and doing things that will help other people as opposed to hurting other people. And that's that first level of evil that we've got to all overcome. And obviously that's a daily struggle for all of us. So, but the first part of it is we have to actually recognize it. And once we do recognize it, then that's the first step in overcoming it. So just thought I'd throw that out there, guys. That's the first stage of my series on evil. And there's three different levels of evil that I want to talk about: but evil, the beast, and the buffet. So, and I can just tell you that you do not want to be part of the buffet. So let's overcome the beast and overcome the evil. All right, guys, we'll talk at you later.